Okay, I'm going to show you a way to create an interactive spring in SolidWorks. That is a spring that will change its length as you extend or compress it, and the coils will change with it. In order to do this, you need 3 sketches. Sketch 1 will be your base circle, the base diameter of the coil spring. Sketch 2 will be the overall height of the spring, which will be adjustable. And sketch 3 will be the actual profile of the spring. You can see in this example that I've already created one of these springs, and as I pull on the height, the spring gets longer, or as I crunch it down, the spring compresses and gets shorter, and it all runs together. So let me show you step by step how to do this. We'll create a new part here. And to start with, we're going to draw the base circle, base diameter of the coil spring. We'll go to the top plane and create a new sketch. And we're simply going to create a circle here at the center that is 2 inches in diameter. We'll finish the sketch. I'm going to switch to isometric view so we can see a little better. Now I need to create another sketch that is perpendicular to the first sketch. So we're going to go to the front plane here, create a new sketch, and this will be our vertical line that's going to define the height of our spring. Draw a line like this, dimension it. We'll set the basic dimension to 4 inches. But this next step is critical, that we right click on the dimension and we select the option to make it driven. Now that might slightly be off the screen here. It's down about 1/3 of the way down in the menu. We select driven. What that means is that the length of that line can change and the dimension will update. So if we finish the sketch and we take and drag that line around, you'll see that the dimension changes based on where we drag that line to. Now we need to create our third sketch that is also going to intersect the original sketch, so it also can be on the front plane. You need to keep this separate from the sketch we just created for this to work appropriately. So we'll create that third sketch, and now this is going to be the profile of our coil spring. Create a small circle right there. We'll make this a 1/8 inch coil diameter, so let's dimension that. And also want to make sure that we define this as being exactly 1 inch, or half the diameter of our base circle that we created. We have our sketch there. Now I'm going to select sketches 2 and 3 and then pick the swept boss base option. Now normally when we do a sweep, we find that we just follow a specific path. That's the default. However, in this case, to make it a coil spring, we're going to change this to say twist along path. And that'll give us our coil spring effect. And we want to define this by the number of turns. And the number of turns is simply the number of coils we want to define in this spring. In this case, we'll do 16. You can see in the preview, we already have our coil spring. So let's hit OK and accept that. And there you have our coil spring. Very simple way to make it. But now, is it interactive? That's what we want to check. So sketch 1 stayed on. We're going to turn that off. That was defining our base circle. But we will come in and turn on sketch number 2, which defines the height of our spring. Let's make sure we show that. And let me grab that at the end. Notice that our spring coils extend as I make the height longer. And then if I go and make the height shorter, the spring coils will compress, just like a real spring. So there you have it. And that is something that we can now put into an assembly. If we have moving parts where the spring is going to be changing and updating, it will update as your assembly moves through the different stages of motion. And so that's about all there is to it. Thanks for watching.